Pozdravljeni, dobrodošli na tale 11. marec. Nekaj dni po 8. marcu, ko smo pravzaprav obeležili 100. obletnico praznovanja, začetek praznovanja 8. marca. Pa ne govorimo samo o ženskah na 8. marec, ampak govorimo o enakih možnostih. Zame osebno ne gre za žensko vprašanje, ampak gre za naše vprašanje, vprašanje moških in žensk, oziroma za vprašanje naše družbe. Tako da lepo dobrodošli v hiši Evropske unije na otvoritvi današnje fotografske instalacije. Zelo vesela sem, da so z mano gospod Stavros Lambrinidis, podpredsednik Evropskega parlamenta, gospod Jelko Kacin, poslanec iz Slovenije v Evropskem parlamentu, gospod Ivo Vajgl, poslanec iz Slovenije v Evropskem parlamentu, moj kolega iz Evropske komisije, vedli predstavništva Evropske komisije, gospod Andrej Beloglavec in pa kurator današnje predstave, gospod Jurij Puc. Predala bom besedo vsakem od njih in želim vam, da uživate v tej instalaciji in morda vsak v njej dobil svojo lastno zgodbo. Najprej bom prosila za besedo gospoda podpredsednika Stavrosa Lambrinidisa.
I'll do this in English and there will be a translation in this day. Is that true? Okay, so I'm not going to speak a lot.
No, you can speak English. Everybody understands me.
So, do we need a translation or not?
Yes.
We do. Okay. Women today are still not equal to men. They're not equal to pay. They do the same work, but they get paid less. They're also, unfortunately, in many of our advanced civilized European countries, subject to violence, including domestic violence. There are a number of issues that don't have us equal yet.
Ženske danes niso enake, tudi v moderni družbi, kot je Evropska, ne po plači, ne po drugih vprašanjih. Najpomembnejše vprašanje nasilja doma in drugod.
This is not to say that we have not made humongous advances in Europe, because we have in the past 100 years.
To pa ne pomeni, da v Evropi nismo dosegli napredka. Dosegli smo izjemen napredek v zadnjih 100 letih.
I think the most fantastic example of this is the European Parliament itself. Approximately 37% of all members of the European Parliament are women. That is twice as much, in many cases 3 times as much, as the percentage of women in different national parliaments in our countries.
Izjemen napredek smo dosegli prav v Evropskem parlamentu, kjer je izjemen odstotek 37% ženskih parlamentark. To je celo 2 ali 3-krat več kot v nekaterih nacionalnih parlamentih.
I hope that the example of the European Parliament can work positively in our member states. I think that the participation of women, especially in politics, where decisions are made, is hugely important. It doesn't mean that every woman politician will be one I would like or agree with. I don't agree with Merkel very much, but that's my thing. But it means that we at some point have to be able to make decisions about our lives that reflect all of us. And all of us means men and women, means poor and rich, means no matter what our religious background is or our sexual orientation is. These kinds of decisions are made in politics, and politics have to reflect women much more than today.
In vprašanja, s katerimi se soočamo v Evropskem parlamentu, so tista, kjer bi morala biti zastopanost žensk in moških še posebej pomembna. Upam, da bo Evropski parlament spodbuda in zgled za ostala področja življenja. To ne pomeni, da se moramo z vsemi ženskami parlamentarkami strinjati, kot se sam, na primer, ne vedno z gospo Merklovo, ampak pomembno je, da so različni pogledi in vidiki vseh ljudi, moških in žensk, del političnega odločanja. Da na odločanje ne vplivajo razlike med moškimi in ženskami, med revnimi in bogatimi, med spolno usmerjenostjo ali verskim prepričanjem.
So let me thank our information office in Ljubljana for your wonderful work and for this initiative. Let me thank also the curator for this exhibition. Let me thank the European Commission Office for its support and cooperation. And let me finally thank my two colleagues in the European Parliament for being here today to support this initiative and to get the word across that in the Parliament we care and we fight for these words.
Naj se zato na zaključku zahvalim naši informacijski pisarni, kuratorju, pisarni Evropske komisije in seveda mojima dvema kolegoma iz Evropskega parlamenta, da vam skupaj prenesemo sporočilo, da se borimo in da nas je mar za to vprašanje.
Hvala lepa predstavništvu našega parlamenta v Ljubljani za to željo, da je duh Evropskega parlamenta v takšnih predstavljen skozi takšne lepe, fragmentarne trenutke, kot je ta razstava, kot je bila prejšnja razstava v lesu, na nek način prisoten v Ljubljani. Mi brez dvoma, ki smo v Evropskem parlamentu, si želimo, da bi bilo več tega skupnega evropskega duha, izvirnosti, lahkotnosti, včasih tudi veselja, prisotnega med nami. But I have to speak to the people who don't speak English.
Yeah, that would be nice, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me say just a couple of words. I just explained my pleasure that through this representation of our parliament in Ljubljana, we got some more of European spirit, which is not only, it does not consist only of big projects, it does consist also of small ideas, of something which makes you feel good if you visit an exhibition, if you launch on an informal way a good idea. So we have had a couple of such exhibitions in this place, and I am very, very grateful and pleased that they introduced this practice. Yesterday, a day before yesterday, when we had a celebration of 8th of March in the European Parliament, I said a couple of words, and I started with the example of Wiener Philharmonic Orchestra, which is the most famous and the best orchestra in the world. It is only a couple of years ago that the first woman was admitted to be a member of this orchestra, and it was because they had a host concert in New York, and they met something which they didn't expect. They were expecting the applause, but they were boycotted while having a lunch. People came and said, "Well, what the hell is this? You know, you discriminate women." So since then, they have a couple of ladies. And frankly speaking, I love music. I'm married with music, and I love music in my private and official life. The orchestras where the ladies are playing have a different sound. Nobody can persuade me that this is not true, because the ladies, the women, they engaged more of emotions, more of love, more of open-hearted feelings in music, in art. So I saw which artist you selected there. It says everything about it. I would add Ivana Kubilica to that.
We could add a lot more.
Yeah, maybe some. And I wouldn't add any of those who are running for the Woman of the Year or Car of the Year or something. So I think it is a wrong perspective of promoting the role of the woman in the society by having this fashion like competitions. I would like maybe finish by saying that what I didn't say, you know, we have here our favorite chairman of the plenary sessions in European Parliament, because nobody is leading the votes so expediently as he does. You know? So he gave an applause for this. And since he is speaking so fast, you know, we sometimes have the problems with the translation. So our translators are maybe for a half of a second slower, and then you take a risk to not to pull the button at the right time, you know. So I therefore learned one important word in Greek language, kata, which means against.
Yes.
So
it's interesting he has not learned iper, which means for. I don't know what that means.
Okay, but let me say at the end, well, I first spoke about the Philharmonic Orchestra, and then I asked the colleagues in the auditorium how this parliament would look without our women colleagues. It would be rather dull. So they invest much more of energy, much more of a well-founded feeling for the polemic, for fighting for their case. So I'm glad that we can say we have quite a good representation, but the fair representation would be at least 50-50. Thank you.
Najlepša hvala gospodu Vajglu. Jaz moram priznati, da sem zelo vesela, da imam danes tukaj kar 3 poslance, čeprav sem dobila en manjši očitek na to, da so vsi 3 moški, ampak kot sem rekla uvodoma, zame ni ženskih in moških vprašanj, se samo naša. Zato zdaj z največjim veseljem dajem besedo še gospodu Jelku Kacinu, prav tako poslancu iz Slovenije v Evropskem parlamentu.
Thank you. I am a man and this is not a sin. You can complain to my father and to my mother, but it is like it is. I'm a politician for a long time, and I want to say that I learned something on that long-lasting practice. The first problem is that we in Europe, we are very Europe-centric. We simply believe that Europe is a globe, but it is not. And we are very often incapable to see how the rest of the world looks like. And on the other hand, we very often believe that Europe is pure gold, what is not true as well. So we simply need to make more realistic mosaic of our reality, of mankind reality, and without women, we simply cannot understand what it's all about. When we talk about women's rights, I would like to underline the importance of right to educate. And I want to quote a Turkish Prime Minister, Recep Erdogan, who was very often saying some strange words that a lot of people doesn't understand. He's saying something like that: I cannot move forward Turkey without educating people in the eastern part of Turkey. What means that we need to allow women to go to university, because when they will come from the university, they will change the shape of the country and the shape of the society. But there is always a problem, how to overcome obstacles and traditional frames that don't allow them to come there. They need the permission of their fathers and brothers. And if a scarf is a price to give them a chance to be educated, we need to allow them that. Because their daughters, they will not wear a scarf anymore. In one generation, everything is going to change. So we need to allow women to participate in this global changing, and education is that. My second experience is about communication. Whenever I'm preparing a press release, I insist that the press release need to be seen by my women team, because you will not believe how much it is changed always after women take a look in. We simply missed some important messages, and we are not so smart to understand and to know what we need to add. So gender communication taking into account perception and the way of communicating from both genders is the only way to communicate on an appropriate way. And thirdly, despite I said that we in Europe believe that we are the best and blah 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 blah, we still have niches where women are closed in the houses, closed in the societies, and first of all, we need to do our homework at home. And this is a small contribution to aware that everything is in front of us and we need to make things possible. Thank you and all the best.
Najlepša hvala tudi gospodu Kacinu. Preskočili smo prevod. Če kdo želi prevod, naj lepo prosim pove in zagotovili bomo povzetek potem, ko bomo prosili za vse govornike. Zelo veliko veselje mi je, da se mi je pridružil kolega iz Evropske komisije. Ta hiša je pravzaprav hiša obeh institucij in zelo vesela sem, da v zadnjih 5 letih, kolikor sem tukaj, pripravljamo podobne dogodke, kot jih je omenil tudi gospod Vajgl, kjer sodelujeta obe instituciji. Zdi se mi, da je to za državljane zelo pomembno. Zato z veseljem povabim besedi gospoda Andreja Beloglavca. Andrej, prosim.
Hvala lepa. Spoštovani gospod podpredsednik Evropskega parlamenta, gospod Stavros Lambrinidis, if you allow me, I will have part of the speech in Slovenian and then switch on to English.
And the other part in Greek.
That will be difficult. Okay, I will conclude in English. Cenjena poslanca in predvsem hvala lepa Nataši, zato da imam danes tukaj priložnost dati pečat Evropske komisije, institucije, kateri pripadam na ta poseben dan. Ne bi želel ponavljati to, kar so rekli moji cenjeni predhodniki o enakosti med spoloma kot temeljno pravico Evropejcev in Evropejk, tudi da dosežemo polni potencial Evrope, kar se tiče socialne kohezije, zaposlenosti in gospodarske rasti. Rad bi se pa vrnil mogoče na 100. obletnico dneva žensk in kot je bilo rečeno prej, seveda tukaj smo naredili velik napredek v Evropi in tudi drugod po svetu, mogoče zelo neenakomerno, ampak že to, da obstaja dan žensk in da ga še vedno imamo, je mogoče že samo po sebi dokaz, da ta napredek še ni bil dovolj in da čeprav gremo v pravo smer, je še veliko treba storiti. Unija na tem področju veliko storila, ne bom zdaj tukaj govoril o raznih strategijah. Strategija je bila sprejeta recimo lani septembra, ampak tukaj, kar je ključno, je implementacija in še bolj ta miselni preskok. Maybe I'll switch to English. I don't want to repeat what all my predecessors have said before. I just wanted to stress that in these 100 years since we have Women's Day, a lot of progress has been made, but simply we are not there yet. Just the fact that we still have this day is in itself a demonstration that a lot still needs to be done. The institution that I belong to has adopted all sorts of strategies. The last one in September 2010. These are of course very important. They set goals, guidelines, but what is really important here is a change of mentality. And that's why I'd like to conclude by saying that I hope that we won't wait for 100 years till we don't have Women's Day anymore, simply because I hope it won't be necessary in 100 years' time, and actually much sooner than that. So I would like to conclude with a thought of an American suffragette, which said at the beginning of the last century that we should finally have a world which is set up by, which is composed of men, their rights, and nothing more, and women, their rights, and nothing less. Thank you very much.
Hvala, Andrej. Nekako nenavadno je govoriti o politikah Evropske unije pred splošno javnostjo. Težko jo je predstaviti vsem. Marsikdo zamahne z roko in reče, to me ne zanima, Evropska unija me ne zanima. Zato sem zelo vesela, da lahko v besedi povabim Jurija Puca, ki je pravzaprav naredil to, kar se zdi nemogoče. Politiko Evropske unije je prelil v umetnost In pa mislim, da grem tudi užival, kaj bi zadnjih 14 dni je vredno pregledoval s fotografije samih lepih deklet in žensk. Lepo prosim, Jurij, beseda je tvoja.
I apologize. They said that I should speak in Slovenian, but I think I'll be poetic more in English today, so I can maybe conclude in Slovenian. The thing is, I was a little bit in a position of Paris, which is funny, because you're from Greece, because I had to decide between the three goddesses. The goddess of power, which is Hera, Athene, which is of wisdom, and beauty, Aphrodite. And I kind of put those iconic images there from a huge, vast selection of women. So they are the icons for millions of women, but that's not it. It's just the icons. So next to them, I put, again, as a decision maker, I think a wonderful series of a great colleague of mine, who unfortunately is not here, Simon Chang, who is becoming an integrated Slovenian, so to speak, although he's from Taiwan and cannot be here today. And I combined these two images of, let's say, street women, the millions and the icons, and created this duality to describe that we don't know everything, and we will never know. What we can is try to create that beautiful feeling that woman represents for us, for men, for photographers, for visual artists. And that's, I think, the first part. And the second part is I would really like to thank everybody to give me this opportunity to show this kind of thing. The European Parliament and the agency Stop, and of course the logistical support of my great friend that helped curate the exhibition, Simon and his spouse, and of course everybody at my School of Photography that we have here in Ljubljana. So thank you very much.
Najlepša hvala, Jurij. Zdaj pa nam ostane samo še čas za druženje, zelo vabljeni na prigrizek in pa glasbo, prosim. Hvala lepo.
Okay.
Bravo.